Hi everyone, I'm Lynnea Olivarez, Chair of ASGCT's Communications Committee, and you're listening to Soundbites of the annual meeting, recorded live here at ASGCT 2026 in Boston. Joining me now is Dr. Timothy Yu of Boston Children's Hospital and recipient of this year's Jerry Mendell Award for Translational Science. Dr. Yu is being recognized for his pioneering work advancing N-of-1 clinical trials and helping build pathways for personalized genetic medicines for patients with ultra-rare diseases. So Dr. Yu gave an excellent lecture earlier today when he received his award, and one of the things that really resonated with us was how he set the stage and just reminding us of some of these sobering stats of why we're here to do what we do. Dr. Yu, could you tell us a little bit more about the problem, so to speak, that we're trying to solve here?
Absolutely, Lynnea. So I'm a scientist, and I've loved the work that's presented at ASGCT for years. And when we come here, we should be celebrating our successes, and it's been amazing to see the scientific progress, new vectors, new dual system designs to titrate the gene expression of a vector, new cargos, new organ targeting systems. But the problem that kind of captivated us 8 years ago was, well, why is it that all of these amazing technological advances and this amazing commercial investment can't touch the 85% of conditions that are in this long tail of conditions that I care very much about, but are too rare to attract that type of commercial and research investment. And I chose that as the framing of our talk because really that's what brought us into the space. We met a patient 8 years ago or 9 years ago that had one of these genetic conditions, a very severe, progressive, fatal condition in a 6-year-old that lived in that long tail. And the same tools that we use to treat conditions like spinal muscular atrophy or AADC deficiency or Parkinson's or any of these other conditions could have been applied to her, but we couldn't actually bring them to bear because the condition was too private. The condition that she had been only described in 60 or 70 patients in the literature before.
Wow.
And that put us in a situation of feeling like we had amazing tools at our fingertips, but then this gap to actually bringing them to bear for a patient, even though the path to bringing it to bear seemed really clear in front of us.
Right.
And so this is the problem that kind of captivated us. And I chose to show as the first slide in my talk this graph showing the distribution of rare diseases, showing that there is this like really remarkable slope that you see where we're only able to commercially invest in the parts of the graph that are on the far left of the slope. And this long brontosaurus tail off to the right, you never hear about those diseases.
Right.
And that's what captivated us, and it made us realize that, well, this is a place where we can do some good, and we can try to push the envelope and think of new creative solutions.
Which is why you're here with us today, recognizing the work of you and your lab. And I think looking at the other end of it, though, thinking about what is preventing these N-of-1 therapies from scaling? Like, what's holding us back? Because you've successfully done it with several number of these ultra-rare diseases now, but yet we're not hearing about it at a broad scale yet.
Right, and I do want to qualify, I think that I'm very proud of the work that we've done.
Yeah.
And we've advanced programs in 5 different diseases that have never been touched by companies or academics from a therapeutic perspective and interventional perspective so far. I do want to say that we are, I think, close to declaring success for one of those trials, and some of the others we're still not quite ready there.
Sure.
But the fact that with so many colleagues now entering the space in the last 8 years, launching new trials, I think the data from those trials will be rolling into our laps in the next few years. And I think there will be some successes. There will likely be some failures, there are going to be some uncertainties, but there are going to be some successes. And the really critical question is what happens with those successes. A proof of concept success run, in my case, by an academic lab, or in many other cases by academic labs or by nonprofit centers or foundations, they have an uncertain future. We don't yet know what's going to happen to those programs. How will they continue on? How will they grow and expand? And to me, I think that this wonderful recognition from the society was a chance to kind of pose that question to the group and to get people really thinking about it. Mm-hmm. We've been really lucky that the FDA has been a wonderful partner in this, and we've brought them along for the ride and had really wonderful, productive conversations, learning both ways. And as we look to what the potential is here, they see the same potential that we do. What's tricky is finding the regulatory system that will allow us to set an appropriate clinical scientific standard to say this is good enough. This one is working well enough, this one is not, such that we can now bless it, such that we can now turn the engines of sustainability and economic enterprise towards keeping them going. But what's really interesting is that what's clear, the economic solution is going to have to look very different than what we're currently doing right now.
Unquestionably, sure. Well, I think we're about out of time for this episode, but would definitely encourage all of our listeners to take a look at the replay of Dr. Yu's lecture from today. He had some really interesting ideas around accreditation and modular therapies that I think are worth continuing the conversation around. So thanks again, Dr. Yu, for joining us in this episode. And for all of you listening, please stay tuned for more Soundbites of the annual meeting coming to you throughout the week from ASGCT 2026.